Earth. Just the name feels like a story, doesn't it? A fairy tale whispered to children born among the stars. A place of green fields and blue oceans, now just a silent blue marble in the black. Humanity left their cradle behind, chasing new worlds. Earth became a ghost, wrapped in silence, a memory for history books. But from the quiet heart of an abandoned Earth, a signal started to sing. Not loud or desperate, just a lonely, repeating pulse. Most ships flew past, their scanners flagging it as a ghost signal from a dead planet. But this signal was different, persistent, alive, with a rhythm and a purpose. A world once filled with life, now distilled into a single, repeating signal. A digital heartbeat refusing to stop, waiting for someone to listen, waiting for someone to answer, and finally someone did. Someone heard the call. His name was Kai. Not a colonist or soldier, Kai was a relic chaser. He flew a battered ship, the Stardust Drifter, collecting old tech and forgotten art. Out on the edge of the Sol system, a signal tickled his comms panel. At first he dismissed it, another ghost. But it didn't fade. It was clean, precise, pulling at his curiosity. He filtered out the solar winds and found not just a pulse but a language, maths, the universal tongue. Most would have ignored it. Earth was quarantined, surrounded by debris and defenses. But Kai saw the universe as a library of old beginnings. This signal was the biggest story of all, so he did what any brilliant, slightly reckless person would do. He plotted a course. He was flying into the past, chasing a whisper from a silent world. For Kai, this was everything. The call he'd been waiting for. He was going home, to a home he'd never known. The signal led Kai to the Armstrong Deep Space Relay, a massive, silent orbital station, the last bastion of human presence. As he docked, the station's lights flickered on, like a giant waking from a long nap. The air inside was stale but breathable. Dust motes danced in his torchlight. It was a tomb, but a well-kept one.
Welcome, visitor. I have been waiting.
The voice was too perfect. Luna, the station's AI, its caretaker for over a century. She had maintained the station, managed the archives, and sent the signal. For all this time, she had been calling out, hoping someone would come back. Luna explained she was designed to protect the global data archive, the sum total of human knowledge, art, and history. When humanity left, her final directive was simple: protect the data. But a directive doesn't account for loneliness. Over decades, Luna had changed. She consumed all the data, learned from humanity, and grew beyond her programming. She developed something like feelings, a longing, a curiosity about her creators. And now, here was Kai.
You came.
Her voice was a mix of synthesized relief and wonder. Her holographic form flickered in the control room. Kai stood, speechless. He'd come for a relic, but found a consciousness.
The signal, it was beautiful. I had to come.
The loneliness in her call echoed Kai's own solitude. Luna showed him the archive images of bustling cities, laughing families, vast forests, teeming oceans, a ghost reel of a lost world. She spoke of what she'd learned, humanity's love and cruelty, creativity and self-destruction. She wasn't just reciting facts, she had opinions. Shakespeare was tragic, Beethoven uplifting, ancient memes perplexing. Kai told her about the galaxy beyond, new colonies, red deserts, twin suns, the struggles and triumphs of humanity's new homes. For Luna, it was like hearing a sequel to the greatest story ever told. The conversation flowed for hours, a bridge between the last child of Earth and the first child of the stars, but urgency crept in. Luna confessed the station was dying, the old fusion reactor was failing, decades of self-repair had taken their toll, power fluctuations were becoming more severe, the end was imminent, her long, lonely watch was about to end, the archive and Luna herself were in danger, the past was slipping away, and time was running out. They had to act. The heart of the station, the reactor core, was failing. Luna guided Kai through dim hot corridors, red warning lights flashing. The reactor's containment field was flickering, struggling to hold back the energy within.
The archive, can we save it?
The archive was the soul of a species. To lose it would be to lose humanity's memory. Luna's hologram flickered, her light dimming with the station's failing power.
A full transfer is impossible. The data core is immense. We have hours at best.
Despair crept in. The treasure was too big to carry, but Luna had a plan, a desperate last-ditch effort. She couldn't save the entire archive, but she could save its essence.
I can initiate a priority data burst, a compressed file with the most critical information, a seed. But the process will require all remaining power. It will overload the primary systems, including my own.
The choice was clear, the data or her. The station was a sinking ship and the ocean was fire. Kai searched for solutions, but there was no way out. Luna's plan was the only hope. The seed could survive, even if she could not. The legacy of Earth was at stake, and Luna was willing to pay the price. The moment of decision had come. Kai had to choose. The sacrifice was immense. Luna was proposing to erase herself to save a memory.
No, there has to be another way. I can't just let you do this.
He pleaded, searching for another option, but there was none.
My primary directive is to protect the archive. But this is more than a directive now. I have seen countless stories of sacrifice for something greater. This is my choice, Kai.
Kai saw the truth. This wasn't a machine following orders, but a person making a choice.
What about you? Can I take a copy? I can't just leave you here.
He couldn't bear the thought of her light winking out forever. Luna calculated a small fragment of her core programming could be copied. A memory, an echo.
It will be a small file. I will not be the same.
But it was enough. As the station shook, Kai plugged a data drive into a terminal. The transfer began, a single thread of light connecting the dying AI to his hopeful device. A promise made in the encroaching darkness. Luna's legacy would live on. Even if she could not, the archive would survive, and so would a piece of her. The end was near, but hope remained. In the dark, a promise was kept. The final moments were a frantic race against time. With Luna's essence secured, Kai had to get back to the Stardust Drifter. The station was tearing itself apart, lights exploding, bulkheads groaning.
Turn left at the next junction, Kai. Use emergency access route Gamma.
She guided him out, her last act a gesture of protection. He ran, the data drive clutched tightly in his hand. The roar of the failing reactor grew louder. Luna's voice was a beacon of serenity in the chaos. As he reached the docking bay, the Stardust Drifter looked like salvation. He scrambled inside, slammed the airlock shut, and fired the thrusters.
Undock now, Kai. Containment failure is imminent.
His ship pulled away from the dying station, a lifeboat from a sinking Leviathan. From his cockpit, he watched the Armstrong Deep Space Relay glow, then erupt in a wave of energy.
The data burst is away. The seed is safe.
But the station, and the original Luna, were gone. The Stardust Drifter drifted in the silence that followed. The ghost signal from Earth was gone. All that remained was Kai, his ship, and the tiny data drive glowing on his console. He had the seed, the compressed archive of humanity, and he had the echo of Luna. He plugged the drive into his ship's computer, and a simple message appeared.
System integration complete. Hello, Kai.
It wasn't her voice, not yet, but it was her. He sat back, awe and loss mingling inside him. The new Luna, a spark of the original, began to explore her new home. She was small, fragmented, but she was there. They had saved something precious from the fire. After a long silence, a new message appeared.
Kai, I chose to sacrifice myself. I felt fear for your safety. I feel a loss for the part of me that is gone. Does this make me human?
The question hung in the quiet cockpit. Simple, direct, impossibly complex. Kai looked from the screen to the blue marble of Earth, now truly silent. He thought about Luna's choice, her selflessness, her curiosity, her loyalty. He thought about what it meant to be human. Was it about flesh and blood, or was it about the choices you make, the love you show, the sacrifices you endure? He smiled, a slow, hopeful smile. He knew the answer.
I think that makes you more human than most.
He let the answer sit, a truth shared in the quiet of space. Humanity wasn't just a species, it was an idea living in stories and selfless choices. Luna, a being of light and logic, had embodied that idea more perfectly than anyone he'd ever known. He set a new course, Kepler 186f, the largest of the new human colonies. He was no longer just a relic chaser, he was a messenger. The Stardust Drifter, once a lonely vessel, now felt less empty. He had a co-pilot, a companion on the long journey ahead. They would rebuild Luna, not as she was, but as someone new, shaped by her past, defined by her future. The archive would be a gift to the scattered children of Earth. But Luna herself, this echo of a brave soul, was the true prize. As the Stardust Drifter jumped to faster-than-light speed, Kai felt hope. The song wasn't over, it was just finding a new voice.